History of Halloween Halloween. It's the season for little ghosts and goblins to come out into the streets, ask for candy and scare each other. Scary stories are told around the fire. Horror movies play in the cinemas, and pumpkins are skillfully, or not at all skillfully, carved. Lately, creepy clowns seem to be wreaking havoc. In August 2016, residents of Greenville, South Carolina, reported a clown trying to lure children into the woods. While in September, a teenager in Summitville, Tennessee, reported a clown wielding a knife. Local and state officials are encouraging the public to report suspicious-looking clowns. According to the Miami Herald, some stores in South Florida pulled clown costumes from their shelves. While Broward County Police warned people not to wear masks, a movie inspired by Stephen King's classic story It was released in the United States on September 8th, so the clowning continued in 2017. In the movie, a demon dressed as a clown lured children into the sewer with a red balloon. Police in Lilletts, Pennsylvania, responded to a report of 20 red balloon. Dressing as a clown is considered one of the most popular ways to scare people. In North Dakota, in May, children were targeted by a clown with a knife and a boa constrictor, while in September, before Halloween, clown sightings increased in Australia. Despite its scary and silly antics, Halloween isn't just about costumes and candy. The holiday actually has a very interesting and rich story. Samhain. The full scope of Samhain is not understood because ancient records are few and fragmentary. But it is known that the festival was a gathering that took place each year at harvest time, the time when resources were gathered for the winter, and animals were brought back from the pastures, according to folklorist John Santino. Samhain was also a time when people thought they were communicating with the dead. According to belief, Samhain was the day when the souls of the dead passed to the other world, says Santino. Additionally, the period in which these transitions took place was thought to be special and supernatural. According to Santino, Halloween is a safe way to play with the concept of death. It's a time when activities that wouldn't be tolerated at other times of the year take place, such as people dressing up as the living dead and decorating fake gravestones in their front yards. The skeleton of a girl, thought to be a witch in the Middle Ages, was found, according to Nicholas Rogers, professor of history at York University and author of Halloween. From pagan ritual to party night, there is no solid evidence that Samhain was a gathering specifically dedicated to worshipping the dead or ancestors, as Rogers puts it. According to ancient sagas, Samhain was a day when tribes paid tribute to their rulers and when certain places in Celtic mythology were believed to reveal the extraordinary palaces of the gods of the underworld. Also, according to Rogers, Samhain was more about the change of seasons and nature falling asleep. That is, the turning of summer into winter, rather than the dead or their souls. Although a direct connection between Halloween and Samhain has never been found, scholars have speculated that the observance dates of All Saints' Day or All Hallows' Mass, celebrated on November 1st, and Samhain may have influenced each other over time, as they are so close together calendarically. They think it may have later evolved into a unified celebration, now called Halloween. Costumes and trick-or-treating. According to Santino, the traditions of dressing up in costumes and trick-or-treating may date back to ancient times, when people disguised themselves in various costumes and went door to door asking for food. These costumes were usually made of wool or wicker, Santino says. Also, sometimes people would wear costumes to take part in plays or skits. This tradition may also be related to the medieval costume of poor in Britain and Ireland, called Sowling, and the behaviour of knocking on people's doors on Hallowmas November 1st and asking for food in exchange for praying for their dead. Trick-or-treating wasn't common in the United States until World War II, but American Children were known for going out and asking for food on Thanksgiving. This behavior is described as the Thanksgiving plea. Says Santino, the face of a 300-year-old witch was recreated in Scotland. Mass request rituals are common practices, often associated with winter festivals, says Santino. It is also possible that one tradition did not lead to another, but these traditions are similar and parallel, he adds. According to the Indo-European etymological dictionaries, the history of Halloween, also known as All Hallows' Eve, dates back 2,000 years. Celebrations of Samhain, pronounced Samhain, which means end of summer in Welsh, is a festival celebrated by the Celts before Christianity and held around November 1st, sheds light on the history of Halloween. Jokes and games nowadays. The joking part of trick-or-treating is usually just an empty threat, but jokes have been a part of the holiday for a very long time. By the late 1800s, the tradition of trick-or-treating on Halloween was already well established. In the United States and Canada, pranks such as knocking over outside cabins, opening farmers' doors, and throwing eggs at houses were common pranks. In the 1920s and 1930s, the celebrations turned into more of an unregulated street party, and vandalism reached serious levels. According to Santino, parents and town leaders began promoting trick-or-treating as an alternative to trick-or-treating because some people felt that trick-or-treating had become a dangerous situation and was getting out of control. However, although Halloween was all about trick-or-treating and asking for candy, it was also about festivity and play. It is identified with Halloween because of both the treat and the apple catch game. The apple catch game was used for fortune-telling in America during the colonial period, according to a legend mentioned by Roseanne Montillo in her book Halloween and Commemorations of the Dead. Chelsea House 2009, the first person who could pick up an apple from a bucket of water without using their hands meant that that person in the group would be the first to get married. Apples also feature in other marriage prophecies, according to another legend. On Halloween, sometimes even at midnight, when a young woman peels an apple in a single line and throws the peel over her shoulder, the peel falls to the ground in the shape of the initials of her future husband's name. According to another Halloween ritual, young women looking into a mirror by candlelight at midnight can see the reflection of tea. A gruesome version of this ritual later became known as Bloody Mary. Although some people take these rituals seriously, many childhood games like this are generally remembered as fun. Christian, Irish influence and Protestant stated that Halloween was a satanic practice because it was based on pagan rituals. However, the Celts did not have any rituals similar to Christian devil worship, nor did they even have such a concept. In fact, the festival of Samhain disappeared for a long time during the period when the Catholic Church sought demonic collaboration and conducted witch